All right, well, I expect to see those characters and those symbols printed very soon. You guys better start topping. Better start winning.
I can only try, man. And trust me, I, I'm trying, okay?
I've seen your deck choices. I don't know if I can
I'm
believe it.
fucking trying, okay?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Response on Play podcast. We got a few things to talk about today, but before that, my name's James, and with me is...
Jake, don't look into the light!
Andrew, I'm thirsty.
And Brian, I guess we're lost in the desert.
Yeah, I don't know where my canteen went, and I'm very thirsty. I don't think the water over there is drinkable.
All
No
water's
horses
drinkable.
either.
I don't think salt water is drinkable.
All water's drinkable.
You see the water over there? Take a big gulp.
You
Whether
can
you'll enjoy
drink
it or if it will refresh you, that's totally different.
Heaven or
All
hell.
water's drinkable.
Let's rock. Oh God, we're gonna do this so many times.
I mean, it is the next
So
set,
many
baby.
times.
Yeah, Guilty Gear is the next set, and I do have some new information about that. But before that, I want to let you guys know that we do have a question for any responses, which again is where we're going to start answering questions from you guys about literally anything. If you have questions about our personal lives, about what kind of games we're playing, or things like that, what we do at events when we're not done playing the game, what stuff we use, favorite decks, things like that. Anything you really want to ask, let us know, and then we'll pick one each week. That question and answer will be at the end of the episode, so keep listening for that. And as far as Guilty Gear goes, pre-releases are going to be here in the next couple months. On November 21st is when the Guilty Gear Strive pre-releases will start. And you want to make sure that you're going to go, especially if you want to collect the alt arts, because they're just for showing up. Pre-release participants will receive an exclusive promo card, the Chimaki Roman Cancel token, which is an alt art Roman Cancel, and is only available for pre-releases. So if you want that 9-card alt art image, you will have to go to pre-releases to get that. And I know I'm going to be collecting that.
Oh, yeah.
I know I'm going to get all of them for sure. What about you guys?
I mean, I definitely want to get my hands on this token just because the art looks really good. I like pretty cards, pretty cardboard, as I'm sure anyone else does. As for like trying to get all of the cards to make this sort of alt art image, I mean, I might just because I'm curious to see what like the whole thing will look.
Yeah, I figure I'll probably try and get them. Especially if I end up with most of them, then I'll try and finish it out. If I get unlucky and I only have like 6 of one of them for some reason, then I might not care enough. And then I might just try and get the one of whatever character I like or whichever one I think looks coolest of its parts. But yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to have the alt art Roman cancels and throw them in over and over again instead of having to use the regular tokens.
I am curious if this will be foil. I don't think it mentions here in the article about the pre-release. I don't think it mentions that it's foil. So I wonder if they'll be foil or not.
I would assume it would be, considering it's part of an overall image, and usually our alt art cards are foil.
No, that's
So-
true.
Not
That's
all
fair.
of them.
Not all of them?
Well, I would say most of our promos, though, which this is part of a promo of the pre-release.
I mean, yeah, like
Not all of those are foiled.
for the pre-release, I've noticed that some of the granted, so some are foil, some are not. But this isn't the one that comes in the kit, right? Is this the one that comes in the kit?
I think this is with the
I think
kit.
it is. I think it is, yes.
If it comes in the kit, then all those promos typically have been foiled. So
That's true.
It would make
yeah,
sense
because Leo's
that this would be
katana
foiled too.
and stuff work. So yeah, I'm not sure if it comes in the kit, then absolutely. If it doesn't come in the kit, then it's kind of like 50-50. Could be, could not be.
Well, on the website, as you like rotate it, it's got like a shine on it. I'm going to I'm gonna go towards this because like why would they have it in like a motion thing on the website if it wasn't foil? And why would parts of it shine when you move it?
Already programmed that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Original mock-up.
I mean, I think if you move your mouse over it, I think it just has a sort of backlight with it, and it's not part of the image itself. It's just the mouse has like a backlight sort of thing attached to it when it comes to moving your mouse over the image.
Yeah, so the it looks great, and we're all gonna try and collect it. Even if you didn't sound excited, you will be. Trust me. Like we're all collecting them. I'm
You can't tell me how to feel.
well,
Incorrect. Brian, you feel amazed, shocked, and awe.
that's how I feel when I see
About?
Brian. It's more amazed, shocked, and aw.
Oh.
Continue.
All right. Anyway,
We gas up the homies around these parts.
Hell no.
Continuing with Guilty Gear, though, reveal season is going to start very, very soon. First reveal actually starts today. Snuggy should have his reveal out later today, and then, of course, that's going to continue all the way up until October 1st. Ours will be on September 30th, so if you want to see what character we're revealing, you definitely do. Make sure to check in on the 30th.
James going again and assuming how people feel and what
I
they're
know.
thinking.
I know, right?
I know how people feel. I've got my
You some
finger
sort of
on the pulse of
prophet?
society.
He was a person once, and he felt things.
I see.
Making sense. Anyway, all right, yeah. And no, I agree. I'm excited to see all the reveals. I'm glad we're in reveal season.
Yep.
Absolutely. Reveal season's always exciting.
Yeah,
Always.
totally.
And also, just from seeing the cards that we've seen from the previous like Guilty Gear articles, with Tension and honestly just Behemoth Typhoon, like
Yeah, that card's cool.
yeah.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see more of this set. See what else is getting juiced.
Absolutely. I know this is my most
know.
anticipated set of the year, so I'm excited.
Same.
I think this is a toss-up between this and Turtles, and then like I don't know that I would want to live off of the difference in the hype I have for the two of the sets.
That's fair.
Whatever that means. Anyway,
Anyway,
yeah, it'll be cool. I'm excited for reveal season. Cool.
that's
Can't
not
wait
anyway.
to
That's the
see
same
what we-
thing.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute.
Well, anyway,
That's not anyway at all.
Jake fell asleep at the
Anyway.
wheel again.
Incorrect, Andrew. It's not again. I've never woken up.
He's never
That I
been woke.
believe.
I've never been woke.
Actually, anyway, this time, I do have a question for you guys. More recently, we're seeing, especially with Attuned, the trend toward 2 symbol characters versus the previous 3. What do you guys think about that, and what's your preference on 2 versus 3 symbol characters?
Can I go first? Please, pick me.
Brian, what do you think about that?
I think that we should probably let him go last.
That's all right. Jake, what do you think?
Anyway,
And therefore, he will go first.
I think it's a good change. Attuned is very good. There are plenty of symbols now being supported with Turtles coming out. I think that having more than 2 symbols on a character gets kind of messy. We saw Deku has 5.
Mm-hmm.
That only gets messier and harder to balance as time goes on, which is why I think we could see him banned as he's having, relevance in the meta currently, and he just has too many symbols.
I don't think they will ban him. They will definitely errata him at worst, but they have made it pretty clear they don't want to ban characters.
5 symbols. That's
Especially
everything
challenger
else is
deck
getting
characters.
2.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
Like,
fair.
yeah, he has 5 symbols, sure, but also
All right, here's the errata. We get rid of 2 of his symbols.
You're at 3
they're not
symbols.
going to do that.
The errata's every ability is
I know
once
they're
per
not.
turn.
That would make no sense.
Yeah, I think that the two symbols is healthier for the game, as long as they're supporting a wide variety of symbols and we don't go back to the Attack on Titan 3 sets of 4 symbols as a way to relegate what's in the meta. Because then if you have sets like that that are just stronger than your other sets, you end up in a spot where we are kind of now, where Turtles is a cool set. I like some of the character design, but it doesn't feel as powerful as the last couple of sets we've had. And any character in this new set that doesn't have symbols from any of the last sets kind of feels handicapped in comparison.
Yeah,
Sure.
I
that makes
definitely
sense.
feel
Mhm.
that. I'm kind of like stuck. I need characters that have 2.5 symbols. So
2.5.
I feel like 2 symbol
What
characters.
he means by 2.5 is he means they can have 2 real symbols and then they get the good symbol.
There you go. Exactly. uh, no,
That's what it feels
so I feel like the 2 symbol characters sometimes don't have quite enough support to complete their game plan.
Mhm.
But then with Attuned, the 3 symbol characters have too many options that deck building becomes almost daunting. Because there's just so many options, especially if you get a character that's got like 3 AOT symbols. And you're just like, I've got every card that's been printed in the last 5 sets kind of thing. And it's just like, I don't know. I there's a certain point where some of the characters that only have 2 symbols are either missing crucial things that could be good on their symbols from something else, or don't quite have everything that they need, especially with some of the newer characters that are on the all evil and good symbols. But I don't know, there's just so many options with Attuned and 3 symbols. It's kind of overwhelming.
I personally am more favorable towards 3 symbol characters. I don't hate having 2 symbols on the characters because I do think it makes deck building a lot more approachable, especially with Attuned. But also to that point, I think just like you were saying, James, it just feels like the 2 symbol characters with Attuned, it doesn't feel like they get enough to really do what they want. Whereas the 3 symbol characters, I think it works more because you can pick a symbol and you still have all these other options and tools at your disposal. And it can make some of these other characters with 3 symbols that may not be competitively viable or what have you, can actually give them that slight edge to be viable in a competitive setting. I think, I guess, too, also a caveat to that is 2 symbol characters, at least some of them have good words on them to where they don't need the 3rd symbol. But also 2 symbols, it's just to help simplify the game. Like, it's to help simplify deck building. It's to narrow your options for deck building to make it more approachable, make it easier, what have you. But I don't know. I like the characters having 3 symbols because there's more options there. There's virtually more of a playstyle difference, more variety. I'm just more a fan of the 3 symbol layout for characters, but I don't hate the 2 symbol approach.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, for myself, I think that when it comes down to it, the 2 symbol characters are very focused on what their game plan can be. Obviously, they don't get that 3rd option to like let them spread their wings in the way these older characters get to. And I think it makes sense that we chose to go that route with like AOT and Turtles and some of these other sets, or even like the Guilty Gear set about to come out, because we are trying to limit options to a degree. But I also think it's because we're trying to streamline our symbols and that we've made too many Attuned cards.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like, if we start printing 3 symbol characters again, are they just inherently better than the 2 symbol characters because they have too many Attuned options?
I think that also just leads to the fact that I personally think that Attuned was not handled the best with AOT, and I feel like a lot of us feel the same way. So that having to properly balance attuned in sets mixed with the symbols on characters just kind of go hand in hand. I personally think that sort of problem is because AOT only has six
The six.
symbols.
Yeah, because Turtle's got the other 6.
Right. And so you just have you have these symbols that just got so much support and they're just ahead of these other symbols.
So when you say that they didn't handle Attuned correctly with AOT, is it strictly because they didn't print all of the symbols, or was there a different distribution of Attuned versus non-attuned cards that we would have gone with?
So I think it's a bit of both.
Agreed.
So I always look at Exandria when it comes to how they handled symbol distribution. The commons and uncommons were attuned, and then you have the rares which aren't attuned, except for I actually think there might be. Actually, no, I don't think any of the rares are attuned.
There's a few because
think,
Helmblast is attuned.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
It's attuned
I
there.
think there's only a couple of rares that aren't
Yeah,
attuned.
that's it.
And then everything above that is unattuned.
Yes,
It's
and the UR
3 or more
Yeah,
symbols.
the URs and the secrets, they're not attuned, and they have 3 symbols typically is like the average. Where you look at AOT, everything's attuned. Everything is attuned, even the URs. And I think especially with the URs and AOT being very good and being attuned, like so long as you have that symbol plus whatever symbol you want to play on, like it just doesn't feel as balanced as say Exandria did. Because the commons uncommons being attuned, I think that's perfectly fine. But you can have these high, I guess, quote unquote, power level cards in the URs. I guess the rares a little bit, but mostly like the URs and secrets not being attuned, I think is where it should be. Because with the commons uncommons, you don't necessarily have to pick. They're commons and uncommons. They're basically going to be like the filler cards or really good pieces of your deck. But when it comes to the URs, you really have to pick. It's not just, oh, I have this symbol, yeah, I'm just throwing this in, like no questions asked. Like doesn't feel like there's a lot of thought to it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. To add to that point, I was going to say that honestly, it looks like Guilty Gear is going even further in the direction that Andrew's talking about, and that I've talked about before. In that same idea of we are seeing cards, I think we've been shown a couple of cards that aren't attuned already. And then we've been shown some attuned cards.
Let's Rock and Heaven or Hell specifically are not attuned. They're duo symbol cards, but they're not attuned.
And one of them, I believe, is a common.
I think Let's Rock.
Yeah, I was like to say, I think Let's Rock is a common, which means we're now going, hey, you have to choose a symbol for certain effects, which I think is exactly the right plan. I also think if we keep that as a design philosophy, and we just kind of limit down attuned some, we can still just have 3 symbol characters. There'll be a spot right now where that's not very good, or like where they feel like they have too many options compared to your 2 symbol counterparts, and therefore the 2 symbol counterparts have to have better words. But if you kind of edge out and kind of get rid of some of our attuned by doing it more half and half, or maybe even less attuned, depending, then we can still have a 3rd symbol, because you're not creating 80 million options and you're still stuck making a choice for, this has to be my primary symbol because this card is my game plan.
I also, to kind of add to the point of duo symbols versus trio symbols, a lot of like the topping characters or the competitive characters being played right now are duo symboled. So it's not necessarily that like duo symbols will have a disadvantage against trio symbols, because the duo symbols are performing pretty well, considering like what is it? Zeke Yeager, War Chief is a duo symbol character. Reiner 1 duo symbol. Granted, these are AOT characters, and those sets just have like the cards in those sets are just kind of juiced, minus AOT 1, but that's whatever. The characters in AOT 1 were good, but like everything surrounding the characters and the URs was very questionable, but not the point. Duo symbols characters are still doing well even without that third symbol.
Agreed.
So I will say, I will agree that there are some decks that are topping with, just like two symbols. It looks like Louisville was probably the one that had the most. But since Louisville, it actually looks like, going through them right now, most of the events have been triple symbol, not either dominated, in the case of like Alicante, where only one's character had, was it Jaeger? One of the top 8 had a duo symbol. It looks like in Canberra, 3 of the top 8 were duo symbol. And then in Toronto, there were 2 of the top 8. The rest were all triple symbol. And looking at these, something else kind of meta relevant, seems like it's all the same few characters. We've got, it looks like a lot of Godzilla, a lot of Deku, Pony, Hawks, War Chief, Rodan. Kind of like looks like make up most of them. Now, Canberra was a little bit different than the rest of the metas that had quite a few different ones. We've got Reiner, Mimic, Aaron Yeager, and Raphael, as well as a Piyako. So that one was pretty varied, but the rest of them seem to be the same few characters, and then a lot of them are just a lot of the triple symbol characters. So I don't know. It's obvious, especially with something like Louisville. I mean, Louisville was 11 of the top 16 were two symbol characters. So obviously they can make it through, and they can make them shine. But I do feel like it seems like the triple symbols, at least in the current meta, do just have a bit of an inherent advantage, especially with characters like Deku, who have more than 3. They just get access to everything.
I mean, that's fair. And considering the 2 of his 5 symbols got a lot of support with the AOT sets, I think this also just really boils down to the AOT sets. Just there's just so much for these certain amount of these certain symbols that's making these symbols really shine, or any character with those symbols shine, because Godzilla has been pretty much meta, I think, since he came out, maybe sometime after, and just has kept getting more consistent. But you have Deku 6, who hasn't really been, at least to me from what I've noticed, hasn't really shown up too much until sometime after Nats this year. He started kind of poking his head up a little bit. But here recently, he's been a lot more consistent in the top cuts. Even won Alicante, and got second in Toronto. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's. I'm trying to put this into words, and my brain is failing me here, but I think it could go either way with 2 symbols or 3 symbols. I personally am just more favorable towards characters having 3 symbols, just to give whatever you're wanting to do with that character in your deck, just to give you more options to play with to try to facilitate your game plan. Because I feel like 2 symbols just can't do all that you want. Obviously, 2 symbols are still doing well. Looking at Louisville, most of the top cuts were double symboled. But I personally just like characters having 3 symbols.
Yeah, that's fair. Jake, I know you kind of said your thoughts on it earlier, but especially with the Attuned side of things, how do you feel about Attuned in general? Does it need to scale back some, or do we just need to support the other symbols? What do you kind of feel there?
Once we have notable support for all the symbols, then I think we can take in Attuned as a whole. As we have more support for some symbols for others, more good support for some over others. I'm not even sure if Attuned is at fault for a lot of it. As I've noted, I feel like some of the characters, turtles, feel like they're really compared to other sets. I'm going to use the character I've been putting a lot of time into as an example, Leonardo. He has to fight for 1 damage to his move, and it's not guaranteed. You have to have cards on a symbol that doesn't mill You have to be able to mill to get a damage. Whereas you have characters that are constantly topping, like Godzilla, that just go, it's got 3 damage for free. What do you have to do to activate Godzilla's damage, James, if you want to let the viewers at home know?
I think you have to play an attack card.
Has
That's
to be
crazy.
5 difficulty or higher as well.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
So, boom, it's free.
Mm-hmm.
Leonardo, over the course of a turn, might be lucky to get 3 to 4 damage if you play really hard. Unless you play cheese attacks that aren't necessarily towards winning. And I say that by like the Present Mike card that's a 4 difficulty.
Get loud.
Yeah, that
Turn
card's
it.
funny. And I've hit somebody for 18 with that card before, but it took a lot of setup and getting lucky. There are also times I've played that card and we've both milled one and they immediately mill an attack and I go, okay, cool, there's my 1 damage for this.
So here's my question on that. Is that a Leonardo character problem or is that a symbol problem? Because if he had the fire symbol where he gets to mill more often, does that make it easier to get that damage?
That's definitely I think it's a symbol problem. I think that if he had fire or order and had access to some of the stuff that's been printed recently on fire especially, he'd be a lot stronger. You'd be able to guarantee a lot more damage over the course of a turn. If you had access to One Man Inferno or some of these other cards, like if you had access to Attack Titan Haymaker, where you could mill for a damage, you're getting a guaranteed 2 damage per mill with that, sometimes 3 when your health is low, and that would be a really strong, powerful card.
Fire also has a lot of attacks on it, on the symbol that makes your opponent want to block, which is what Leo wants.
Exactly. I feel like if they had given him fire instead of Raph, I understand the theming, but mechanically it doesn't make sense. And as I've whined and complained, I feel like a lot of these characters don't feel as strong as some of the AOT counterparts that we're seeing. Or we're not seeing stuff like Godzilla, because Godzilla is still terrorizing the meta, has been since he came out. He is constantly making top cuts. He's constantly showing up at every event, and he's constantly kind of a headache to play against because he does so much stuff for free. Discard a momentum, get a +1 to your next check.
+2.
2, actually.
Or, sorry, +2 to your next check.
To play an attack or block. It works offensively and defensively.
So he's got a tool
very
that
strong.
works on both sides. He gets a free 3 damage on basically every attack he plays. And then on top of that, he can go, I don't really like the board state. I feel like you have more advantage than me. We're going to reset that.
We're going back to turn 1, baby.
So I feel like when there's characters in the meta that are designed that heavily, that just get so many pluses for free, and then you have Leonardo that goes, yeah, if this attack is blocked, I get to look at the top, and then I may mill it. All right, cool, I've milled it.
Or draw it.
Now I get 1 damage. You can also draw it, but then your character's committed, and you lose access to your entire effect, your entire character card, which is insane that they let stuff like Burt come through that was like, free minus damage, free this, that. Let me see the top, let me see 2 cards. And then they're like, you can draw this card. But, yeah, we know we've printed all these characters with Tenacious in the past. They get to do all their stuff anyway. You drew a card. You're done.
It's like they're trying to atone for what they did with AOT's power level and just trying to like dial it back, but still try to have some amount of strength in their sets. But unfortunately, that's not how power creep works.
Yeah, you can't reverse power creep like that. And, like, you know...
Well, you can if we get rid of all the things that, like, you were complaining about. But
I mean, we can, but then, like, that we lose access
I mean, that's
to
rotation,
the cool
and that you're just going to have to wait till rotation
Exactly.
happens.
But that's
that's the thing. Do we just print lower power characters for the next 2 years until AOT goes away, and then kind of play at a new power?
While
creep
everyone
level?
continues to play AOT, so the format never really evolves outside of a handful of cards from every new set.
That's the question though. Would it be if power creep is too much of a problem? Like the characters are too good right now; they do too much. Obviously the same characters get played up until rotation, unless we like increase the rotation for some reason. But after that happens, we have a new like power level baseline. Is it worth printing less good characters for a while to get like a new baseline, or would you rather just continue to creep?
I'm not sure. I think that I feel like if we had a consistent line across most heroes, like I understand most characters aren't going to be as good as every character. Like not every character can be Godzilla, right? They've got to try different or interesting design choices, try to like push sets forward and like do things that are getting stale. Like we can't have every set comes out and you've got 3 characters that are basically just Godzilla character. Like that doesn't work. But
Agreed.
also, when you look at this set, and one of the main design choices were, hey, we want to do something interesting with this character and make him mill dependent, but we put him on a symbol that doesn't do that. And then we
do that.
exactly, and then we didn't give him any real tools to do that outside of an occasional flip one here or move this here, and those cards just aren't better than half the cards that have been printed before. There's no incentive to play what tiny amount of mill cards you have, with the exception of maybe Leonardo's Katana. But Leo's Katana is good, but if you use it at the wrong time, they're going to block your attack, and then they're going to go, sick, now your Leo's Katana, your mill outlet for the turn, does not do anything. So, like, you kind of have to build multiple, and then you go, okay, cool, well, I can, like, kind of force ones and here's, but you're playing this really weird game of cat and mouse that's really not even that hard for your opponent to figure out. Especially because he doesn't give any stats other than 1 damage per mill on face.
And also, it doesn't help the fact that the 2 symbols that Leo has haven't gotten a lot of support.
Yeah, just in general.
Sure, but like when you make a character and you make a character design and you go, this character wants to mill. He gets 1 damage. Because we can't let it be like 2 damage, and it can't be speed. Because being able to incrementally, like if his effect were stack speed on his symbols, I would completely understand on his symbols why it is the way it is. Yeah. Because this character would be insane.
Would be kind of crazy.
Some of the cards that I play in my different testing a Leo list let me put 2 to 3 speed on an attack 2 or 3 times a turn. Let me play like I'm slamming home big attacks because you also have cards like if we both at that found a Tagoro foundation on all that says if we're both at 6 foundations, you get plus 3 damage. Like there's decent damage sources on these symbols that if he gave speed and having minimal mill options, he'd actually be very good, in my opinion. The fact that he gives 1 damage and they were so restrained on how he gives that damage. And I understand he's the most balanced member of the team. He's the cool-headed leader, and he wouldn't try to overpower, or he wouldn't try to He's not about senseless violence. So big damage doesn't really make sense. Cool, give him speed. He's cool-headed, so he's able to pump this speed where it matters to get these attacks through to win the fight.
It's true.
Like there are in this design space, there are so many ways I've thought about that would be a small tweak to Leonardo's kit that would make him so much more playable on the symbols he's on, where he doesn't feel like I'm just like, yeah, I've given my attacks 2 damage this turn over the course of my turn. Sick, pass. And I don't know if it's truly a symbol thing. Like we could see more mill stuff in the future on these symbols. Maybe he's a grower, not a shower. Like we've had Overhaul showing back up because of some of the new attacks and stuff. And like all it takes sometimes is one character able to cheese one thing. In the instance of Jacob Johnson's Overhaul list and being able to play 3M. I believe you played a lot of 3M.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he played 3M.
So
in for free.
But like look at top 16 or top 8 from Canada. How many Turtles characters are on this list? The answer is 0. There are 0 Turtles Turtles characters that made top 8. Let me see the pie chart. How many? Well, the card meta breakdown.
It's not a pie chart anymore. We hate pies.
We hate pies.
True.
There are none in the over 3.9%, which is what, 2? Turtles characters. There were no turtle characters with over 2 characters being represented in Canada.
Correct, but there was basically like very few characters that had more than one person
Sure.
playing them there.
And I'd like to see how many characters they got that played Turtles characters and how well they did. If you did and you want to talk about it in the comments, tell me. I'd love to hear it. But my point is I don't know. I feel like we're to wrap back around to the question that I was asked instead of yapping about Leonardo for 30 minutes.
Too late.
I feel
Continue though.
It's getting cut. Don't worry about it.
Andrew, don't cut that.
We'll see.
I hope that as we get more support on some of these symbols, that we can tell the difference. Because right now, I don't think it's an Attuned problem. I think it's a symbol problem.
Yeah.
And the only way we'll know is if it balances out. Otherwise, then it becomes an Attuned problem, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we can only see until like with Guilty Gear, how Guilty Gear pans out, because like we're seeing, there's Attuned, but not every card's being attuned for like certain symbols, right? So it's just only a matter of time. We just gotta kind of see, gotta watch.
Yeah, I am actually a little bit curious about the other question I was asked, kind of Brian and Andrew, your guys' opinion there. Do you think right now the power creep is too much? And then if so, would you prefer to live in like a kind of a stale 2 years where we wait for these guys to rotate and then we start over with lower balanced characters that we've been printing for, a while? Or do we just keep creeping and kind of keep creating interesting characters?
And that's just the awkward thing with power creep, though, because once you raise the power level, you can't go back, because then it just becomes a matter of, why would I play with the new stuff when the old stuff is just way better?
Mm-hmm.
Which, to be honest, is sort of what it feels like now when we keep harping on it for like the last 20 minutes. The AOT stuff, AOT cards, really good. Exandria, it's got a couple cool cards. Like, I like Exandria. Exandria is a really cool set. And it's got a lot of neat cards, neat characters. Does it stack to AOT? Not really. And then AOT 3, AOT Apocalypse came out and just kind of added more fuel to the fire. And then Turtles came out. And unfortunately, Turtles is nowhere near the power level of AOT 3. Unfortunately. So it's just kind of just kind of that thing of like, well, yeah, why would I play with the new stuff when the old stuff is just way better? There's some good stuff in Turtles. Like, Donatello's got potential. I love my boy Donnie, and I think he can work. But why would I play Donnie over, say, Zeke Yeager War Chief? Right?
Yeah. I guess more what I'm asking is, at your personal opinion, like how you want to play the game. Would you prefer more flashy? Like, regardless of what's common now, would you prefer more flashy characters that have a lot of words and do a lot of things on the character side, or would you prefer more toned down characters and everything is more based on more foundation base and like the attacks? Or do you want cool flashy characters? Like, your personal opinion, which one would you like more? What aspect of the game do you like more?
My personal opinion would be less flashy characters and have more of it be centered around what's in your deck. Sure, you want your character to have this cool gimmick to itself. That's very important. But also, I understand that you're like, you want to make the characters more appealing and make it to where like you don't have to really worry about your opponent like stopping whatever your character's doing. But to me, if a character is doing too much, then it will end up feeling too oppressive. So I personally want more of my cool interactions and gameplay to center around what my deck's doing, more so than my character. Obviously, I'm going to build my deck around what my character is doing, but my character shouldn't feel oppressive to where it's like, yeah, I'm just throwing in void good stuff because my character just carries the list by itself. I don't really necessarily care what's in my deck.
Sure. I do think there's like a balance to strike there.
Yes.
Obviously, you don't want because I don't think you want effectively the opposite, where it's well, I just play this void list and I just pick a character that has the void symbol because they don't matter.
Yes.
It's just about this this 60 card list or this however many card list. And obviously we don't want that either because that's just like not fun to be like, yeah, my we don't want every character to be bearded titan.
Right.
Basically
Yeah.
that's literally nothing. It just says, yeah, this is just a picture for me to put up there while I do my thing, while I play the game. Um I would say, I mean, there's technically a third option where you aren't trying to creep the power up, but you're just saying, hey, this is the level we're at. So like we'd say AOT is the level we're at, and then you're just trying to design everything to be at that level. You're not trying to go above it, and you're not trying to really go below it. Though you would probably err towards trying to be a little under it,
Mm-hmm.
and because some stuff will still randomly be really powerful,
Right.
as opposed to if you err towards being a little bit more powerful, you're definitely power creeping, right?
Right.
Um, and I think you can gradually bring everything down. But one of the things that we were talking about here for a second made me have a second question for everybody else. Was in My Hero, we were playing set one characters pretty much exclusively until set four, set five,
Yeah.
and we weren't upset about that. So why does AOT feel so much different? And I think it comes down to the amount of options that AOT both got rid of, but then also just gave its characters.
I disagree. I think firstly, some people obviously were tired of some of the set one characters, but that's just everybody's going to have an opinion. But when it comes to why we're less upset about that and more upset about AOT is because we, at least me and you, and then kind of I know you guys played Jake and Andrew, you guys played before, but we started and a lot of people started MHA set one, or at least it was kind of like a reset for the game. So that was the baseline, and things got printed below that power level. And we were like, well, I still get to play with the characters that I like that I've been playing. Whereas AOT comes along and it's like, this new thing now has shifted the power level up, and I'm now forced to play with the new stuff. I don't get to play with my old stuff anymore because it's just not as good as the new stuff that they're printing. And I think that's kind of at least where the start of the dislike of it came from, and then now it's just kind of progressed onto, well, now I can't play any of the newer stuff because that old stuff that got printed, that I couldn't play my old stuff for, well, now I can't play the new stuff because it's still just too good. I think it's kind of something like that, where it's more of a, we are more nostalgic to the set one characters than we are to the AOT characters.
Perhaps. Probably.
Yeah, and it's also for some characters that aren't good now. It's just more of like, well, there could be some fun stuff with this character, but we got to wait for more things to come out before we can actually really crack them wide open. Which I guess necessarily isn't a bad or negative thing, because that's just how it is sometimes, because it's like a character will have an identity, a fun gimmick, but there's just not enough for them now, but maybe a set or two later is when they really get the ball rolling for them. Godzilla isn't a really good example for this because Godzilla has always been good, but as time progressed, Godzilla just got more consistent, which is kind of sort of the same, sort of a similar idea of, well, the ball's just rolling more and more for this character.
That's fair. Jake, what do you think about the question that Brian asked there, where we're mad about AOT but not mad about set one? Do you think it's a mechanics, or it's like a nostalgia thing, more like I was saying, or do you have something?
I feel like, as far as a set one, we were still diversity in AOT, set per set. Because like you're seeing after three, if you're saying 3 AOTs and 1 set, I would argue there is just as much diversity in those sets character wise as we had in AOT. I would make that argument. If you're talking 1 AOT set, I mean we had more character diversity
in My Hero one, yeah.
Yeah, it felt like a bigger set overall comparatively, and it supported all these different had to, which is why it took so long for people to get off of set 1 cards. Like until set 1 rotated out, people were playing cards. Like there was what, like over 40% of decks were set 1 cards or whatever the metric was before they rotated out. Like absolutely. But there's a difference between a set that, one, accommodates every symbol and has generically decent play paths for a whole bunch of characters, and 3 sets that cater to 5 symbols, 6 symbols?
6.
And still only a handful of those characters are really that relevant. Again, like that's not counting your Godzilla Rodan that have been competitive since they came out. That's not talking Dark Deku. That's not talking any of the Challenger deck stuff. You're seeing these characters as set go set, but then as a character gets quote unquote fixed, you see a lot less of them. Because we've had to have characters toned down because of how hard the characters have been for AOT. And I would still wager I'd rather have the My Hero problem, or like the My Hero set 1, my like baseline, because at least there are cards for everyone in it that are going to bolster and make a bunch of characters fun with a very fun and diverse amount of characters versus what we're seeing with AOT.
I mean, I agree, and that's it kind of ties into what I was basically saying is, what is the difference between these two sets that makes one be something that while we were having to play through it, felt not good, and then one that we were playing through that felt good. And I think it's to what he was saying is, like, everything was in MHA 1.
Yeah.
Not everything was in AOT 1 through 3.
Correct. Overall diversity, what I was getting.
Yes. Yeah. And I agree with you. I think that
point.
is the reason. I think that's the reason it, like, we go, I would still go play my MHA 1 character, like, in a heartbeat. That sounds super fun. We had a blast. We were doing it at Louisville. Like, it's the same idea. We just need to get back to that, where we're supporting, basically trying to support all the symbols again. I just don't know that we are planning on doing it. It feels like we're looking to do 6 symbol sets, or up to 9 symbol sets, if they're going to be big. And I mean, that'll probably be fine once we get through the growing pain section of it. But definitely, like, right now, it feels like we're just stuck getting the same thing over and over again. We get new cards and we go, cool, I can't do much with these. I should probably just keep looking at the stuff I already have.
Right.
Which is kind of how MHA set 2 and set 3 felt.
Yeah.
Like, we got some cards from them, but we didn't get characters from them. So it would just be like, well, that's really cool, or that's a really cool card. I'm going to put it in this character that I've been playing.
Yeah.
Because they can do more with it than the person who's on it that came in this box. But now it feels like almost everything we get that hasn't been AOT or Challenger. I will say most of the Challenger decks feel like, character-wise, taking them to an event, there's at least one. Like, we had people on Ryu. We had Dark Deku. We had
Jamie
pretty much... Yeah, I would say... we have Godzilla, Rodan, Ghidorah. I think there's only a handful I mean, like the lower decks, I guess, and then like solo leveling,
Yeah.
and then the very first ones,
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop and Trigun.
and then yeah, like with the Cowboy Bebop Trigun, and then we still saw some
I think Wolfwood.
Vash getting played when I was like Wolfwood and Vash were both
Fun characters.
being looked at
Mhm.
at different times when they were new.
For sure. Fun characters, by the
So
way.
it-
Just like quick,
Oh yeah, totally.
a quick shout out to the Cowboy Bebop and Trigun Challenger decks. A very good start to that product line. The Vash and Wolfwood, very fun characters to play. It was not really good, but I also did like playing Faye. Faye was very fun. I didn't play Spike, but I know Jake was very high on trying to make that Spike good.
Give us more Outwit cards and spiked symbols, you cowards.
So like just a quick little like side note, just wanted to shout out those decks. Like those decks were a good start to this Challenger series line. Very fun characters.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of fun and good characters, though, if we had characters,
Okay, well you can't have me and good character in the same sentence, but continue.
correct.
But we could have the word fun character.
Could have
Alright,
one
now
fun-
you got me
I
back
said
in
fun
it.
and good. They don't have to mean the same for everybody.
Fun or good.
But if we were to get character cards, since we're on the topic of symbols, what symbols would you guys want on them?
I
Are we doing 2 or 3 symbol characters?
It's up to you. You prefer 2 or 3 symbol characters?
So I prefer 3 symbol characters, but I know for a fact if I had to be a double symbol character, I would have air and water. Those are my 2 favorite symbols. I love air. I love water. And then when it comes to if I had to be a triple symbol character, I think my third symbol would probably be void, because void is another symbol I always find myself trying to play on. Like those are just 3 symbols, air and water especially. Like I love playing on those symbols. I always have, and I always find myself playing decks on void if the character ends up having them. So I would say air, water, void for me.
Okay. Jake, what about you?
Listen here. Probably order fire.
You are a big fire enjoyer.
Now, are you-
big fire enjoyer?
I was gonna say, are you a strictly two symbol character?
Yeah, I think 2 symbols is kind of the way to go.
Okay.
I think 3 symbols, like going back to that, would be like instead of having to push a character to like 5 symbols like they did Dark Deck. I think having 3 symbols and be like, oh, big. This is making it back into that and like scaling to 2 symbols. I think is good, and it gives them the ability to play spaces or in more of a niche, and maybe we could see more power on these characters if they're in 2 symbols. I mean, we're not seeing it right now, but I think as they scale, some of these characters could stand to be a little bit more powerful because they have less tools.
That's fair. Okay, so you're looking towards the future then.
Yeah, and I would say definitely, mainly because I'm pretty fiery.
I would say that.
I could not have guessed. All right, Brian,
Okay.
what's yours?
So I think I've talked about this a little bit before on the podcast, but if not,
Death and evil.
I'm definitely talked about now. Yeah, my 2 favorite symbols are Death and Evil.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of success with them comparably. And then also just, I think they're fun. They do cool things. If I were to have to pick a third symbol, if I needed to be a 3 symbol character instead of a 2 symbol character, it would probably be Earth,
Yeah.
because I think Earth is cool.
That makes sense.
But yeah, and like I know my 2 primary symbols are probably Death Evil, and then I just rotate around the other symbol.
Yeah.
If you were making multiple Brian dots.
And death, evil, earth. Man, you're just Nomu.
That is Nomu.
That's just Nomu.
Best character ever
symbols.
printed.
Feels Nomu, man.
Definitely was a cool one.
It was AOT
Feels Nomu.
before AOT existed.
Yeah, look at
Heck yeah, baby.
I remember looking at Nomu across the table and be like, all right, I gotta chew through this. All right.
Yeah, the words on Nomu do really make him just seem broken as hell.
Yeah.
Just like words
And then-
on face.
And then I like,
But then, like, think about how much he actually showed up in anything.
Did
yeah.
not.
But also, like,
Every now and then he would.
eventually,
But yeah.
like with my Ida list, I'd be like, oh, Nomu. All right, I guess I'll just kick your head off a bunch of times. Let's do it. Man, Ida one is so fun. I love that guy.
Mm-hmm. For sure, for sure. Well, what about you, James? You're the last man on this that hasn't said anything.
I believe I'm gonna have to go with Chaos Death.
Damn, I was close.
I think, yeah, I think it's you. You are very close because it's Chaos Death, and if I'm picking a third symbol, it's probably Void, or maybe Evil. Like those are kind of. I think it's more likely Void. But Chaos Death is definitely my. I mean, I've been playing Chaos for a very
He's
long
the Joker,
time,
baby.
and then the best I've ever done at an event was on the Death deck. So, and I love playing, Eraserhead when I found a Death list at work, played that, and then otherwise I played him on Void. And I don't know, I just have, and then I've been playing Chaos for a very long time, especially since like Tokoyami and Midnight and stuff even before that. So there was pretty big time for me was Chaos and Death, and then we're going Void third, I think. All right, well, I expect to see those characters and those symbols printed very soon. You guys better start topping. Better start winning.
No.
I can only try, man. Trust me. I'm trying, okay?
I've seen your deck choices. I don't know if I can do
I'm
that.
fucking trying, okay?
Sheesh.
I'm trying over here.
Goodness. With that, though, I do want to move on to our last segment here. It's going to be the first response for our any responses. We did have a question from Zephy64 asking us, in the spirit of having visited Canada, what is everyone's favorite donut flavor?
Well, I'm gonna assume this question's for everybody and not just for.
I'll allow you guys to answer the question.
Okay.
Andrew, what do you
I'm
think?
glad we have your permission.
Oh, I'm going first here?
You're going first.
I guess so.
Absolutely.
Favorite donut flavor.
Maple. Maple, so good. So sweet.
Very Canadian.
Hey, it's in
Pandering
the
to
spirit of
audience, I can
Canada.
see.
James?
Yeah, mine is actually also maple, but with little bacon flakes on top.
Ryan?
Just like the flavor of the maple leaf.
I'm a basic bitch. I really like glazed donuts. I think they're very
Hell
good.
yeah! Word of the day, baby!
Dough or cake donuts?
Dough, but cake donuts are good too. Like, honestly, both are fine.
I love cake donuts. Like I can't really do dough ones anymore. I love cake donuts.
Mine is gonna be alright, so I really like anything with chocolate on it. But I also
Speaking
do
of
like,
basic bitch.
I do like the Boston filling donuts.
Sure.
Those are
Okay.
pretty awesome, except when they end up everywhere.
Fair. Fair.
I mean, you
You
can't
should-
really go wrong with
Never
Boston
mind.
cream.
Never mind.
Just whatever you're gonna say, just shut up.
Grumble, 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 grumble.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Moving on.
Rada.
Butt grumble.
All right, well, there you have it. Those are going to be our favorite donut flavors. Now, if you guys have any questions, of course, put them in the comments below, or you can reach out to us on any of our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, or I guess it's X now.
Make it to sorry, just wanted to kind of interject here. To make it easier for us to like lock in on those sort of questions, and if it's for the any responses segment and not just a general question to ask in the comment section, put in in your question comment hashtag any responses. That way we know it's you're asking the question for it to be on the segment and not just asking it for conversation's sake.
Very good point.
Very good, very good. Also, I say, tell us down below what your guys' favorite donut flavor is. Like,
And why is it maple?
Why?
if it's maple, that's great. I'm glad you guys like that.
I don't think they have to
Grumble,
explain
grumble,
why it's
grumble,
maple. I think if
grumble,
they say
grumble.
maple, we'll know.
It's true. It's fair. It's fair.
They can just type, you know.
It's
know.
like, oh, well, you
You
know. And all of us are just like, yeah, maple.
Okay,
Half of
James,
you are
finish
like,
this
yeah,
out. I'm
Mabel.
sick of hearing Andrew talk.
What the hell?
That is going to go ahead and wrap us up, though. If you enjoyed the episode, please give it a like. Make sure you subscribe so that we don't miss any more episodes. Give us some comments down below. Let us know what your favorite donut is. Let us know what your favorite symbols are. That way, we can know you better. Also,
We could just know what kind of player you are.
Shut up, Andrew! We're done listening to you!
don't forget, our reveal is coming September 30th. Also, go support all of the other creators when they put out their reveals, and that way you just get nice and hype for Guilty Gear, because it's coming soon. November 21st is when the pre-release was going to start, and you don't want to miss that because you will get your promo as well, so make sure you keep your eyes out for that. Other than that, though,
I've been Jake. Golly, Andrew, shh!
Andrew, are those vultures?
Brian, I see a horse.
and I'm James. I'm just the other guy.